strong cup of coffee, sitting out there in the sunshine and lapping it all in because we have no idea how long that sunshine is going to last today. So today I'm going to do the easiest, the simplest cake you can imagine. This is a dream for kids. A dream, because I'm a 70s baby and penguins! We are using penguins now. I don't know about any of you, but this was when you had your token jam sandwich. You would have been lucky if you got an apple going to school, and there was always a penguin thrown into the lunchbox. 9 times out of 10, the penguin still remained in the lunchbox. I was never a lover until I found this recipe. So, this recipe uses 320 grams of your biscuits. So, roughly about 2 sleeves of your penguins. And I've broken it into tiny little pieces. So, tiny little pieces. Now, you can beat the living daylights out of this into a freezer bag. I am going to use my Magimix. I'm doing it over here, because it's very loud. So, in goes my penguin. This will only take about 30 seconds. Now I'm going to show you, it's not quite ready. Okay, so you have still a little bit of the crumb. So I want to get fine crumbs. So this is where if you don't have a food processor, beat the living daylights out of it using a wooden rolling pin or an acrylic rolling pin or something heavy. Lads, if you're desperate, you could even use a hockey stick. So here we have our cookie crumb. Now, the most amazing thing with this recipe is that I've tried it with Oreos. Oh my God! I have tried it with these gorgeous biscuits. The beauty about it is that if you have gluten-free intolerance, use your gluten-free biscuits. So in go our penguin. So all these crushed biscuits. Now, super recipe if you are in a caravan. And if you're the type for students going back to college, if they're going back to college, fingers crossed they're going back to college, or if they're in digs and they want to have a yummy cake. This is fantastic because you don't have to have your store cupboard of your sugar, your flour, your butter, your eggs. It's all combined already into your biscuits. I am now adding 2 teaspoons of a baking powder. This is just going to help it rise a little. It doesn't rise an awful lot, but it does give this incredible light, divine sponge brownie-like. So in goes our baking powder. Now the next thing I've got, 250 mils of milk. I'm going to warm it up in the micro. Zoom. I can't really zoom over to the microwave this morning. I decided, shoo, in my wisdom, I'm wearing flip-flops. I'm like total indeed across the kitchen. So I don't really want to fall on my ass going Facebook Live. Don't wear flip-flops in a kitchen when you've got slippy tiles. It's not great on a Sunday morning to see Trish with her ass on the floor. Absolute tits up. Don't wear flip-flops in the kitchen. So we have got 30 seconds away. So when you've got your biscuits and they have been blitzed and they look like your beautiful cake snuff, you can, if you wish, add chocolate chips. You could add chopped pecans. You could add white chocolate. You can add whatever takes your fancy, because this is where you're just going to experiment with textures and tastes and spring sprongy. My microwave is done. Now, when you are nuking your milk, you need to have it room temp. It's not too hot, it's not too cold, it's a bit like Goldilocks, it's just right. So, all we have so far, pick up a penguin biscuits. So this is a chocolate cake made using biscuits. In goes 250 mils of warm milk. I have no idea the science behind this. because looking this up, I wanted to experiment and find something different, and this apparently is called jailhouse cake. Jailhouse cake? No way, jailhouse cake. But I can understand why, because all you need, crushed biscuits, baking powder, and an oven. So can you see, it literally has this soupy consistency. So again, just giving it a stir, stir, stir. Now, I am deliberately leaving it a little bit because I want to have that warm milk slightly soak up. I've tried so many different recipes online to get a feel for this particular recipe. I've tried it with cold milk, not great. So that the cake actually almost ends up slightly granular. And then I decided, do you know what it reminded me of when we were kids? We used to get the rusks and dip them into warm milk. And the warm milk used to thicken the mix. So can you come closer here? Can you see that it's now thickened? So you have this thickened chocolate soup. In goes 30 grams of chocolate chips. Now, you don't have to add the chocolate chips. You can just leave this completely plain. Now, the size of the tin is important for this particular recipe because I've used 2 sleeves of the penguins. This is about a 6.5, 7-inch tin. It's a brownie tin. But as you can see, even with my hands, so that you'd see scale-wise, my 2 hands relatively fit into the tin. So when you're measuring a tin, always measure from the base. Don't measure across. It's always the base of your tin. That's how you know the size of your tin. Okay, and then we have got our gloopy. Now it is so runny. It is like a pancake batter. Do not panic. So this is like milk going into the tin. I have preheated my oven at 180. So 180 degrees. This is going to go in for 20-25 minutes max. You will have a very light sprong texture to your sponge. Clean as you go, clean as you go. This is going to go into your oven at 180. And Alexa, set timer for 20 minutes. Now, I always prefer to err on the side of caution. So try it for 20 minutes, and then when you lightly touch, you'll have a lovely sprong. Now, this is where we have one prepared earlier. Now, I don't know if you can see, but this is the stickiest, springiest. Doing, 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 doing. My hands are scrupulously clean. And you can top with chocolate ganache. You could top with buttercream. But we're talking speed. I'm talking students. I'm talking whatever they have in their cupboard. And we're just going to smear this chocolate spread. Go big or go home. Yum. Now this could be any, again, chocolate spread. It could be the Biscoff chocolate or the Biscoff spread. You could put your chocolate ganache on top of it. You could do chocolate buttercream, but it is absolutely divine. And I'm going to zoom in a minute because I'm going to whip this off and see if we can put it onto a board. Dum, 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 dum. Spread all this deliciousness. Get my cake slide. These are so handy, cake slides. They're fantastic for pizza, but they're also fabulous if you're layering a wedding cake that you can slide off your tiers. And then there won't be any tears. So we have a little chopping board just so that you'll see. And then we'll just decorate with some Maltesers. Slice a few just for a bit of colour and crunch. Fantastic again for kids' lunches because when you want to have something little, don't get me wrong, penguins, there are many out there that absolutely adore penguins. It's not that I don't adore penguins, I just adore cake. So I'm always trying to think or spot ideas that involve cake. So if it's a biscuit that turns into a cake, happy days! But this is hilarious when you do with kids because they cannot believe that it's made out of biscuits. So again, move that out of the way. and I will just, listen lads, if there was a drum roll. I move that out just so that you can see the squidginess. And I'll get a cloth as I'm cutting. Just cut again. It's always so much easier when you're cutting a cake to wipe. And then shove that over there. You can be as generous or as mean as you want. But lads, look at the deliciousness of a cake made with crushed penguin bars, milk, baking powder. So all you have, 320 grams of crushed biscuits of your choice, 250 mils of warm milk, and important, 2 teaspoons of baking powder. You blitz your biscuits, you add your baking powder, you add your beautiful warm milk. You can get creative. Crushed nuts, toffee pieces, chocolate pieces galore. Try and make it easy for yourself for kids going back to school. You spot these. Pick up a penguin. See you next Sunday.